Welcome to Damn Good Movie Memories with your host, Brian Davis. This podcast is the cure for your long commute and super boring workday.
Hey, man.
They didn't know there was a witness.
Carter didn't tell me about the eyewitness.
Yeah, Amish kid, 8 years old.
A man of force.
I'm a police officer, ma'am. I have to talk to the boy.
A woman of faith.
You don't understand. We have nothing to do with your laws.
Yes, I do. Your son's a material witness to a homicide.
Worlds apart.
Now you have a witness.
Yeah, now I got a witness.
John, what's going on, man? What is happening?
You said we would be safe in Philadelphia.
Well, I was wrong.
He left with the Amish woman, right?
If they find me, they find the boy.
You bring this man to our house with his gun of the hand. You bring fear to this house.
Everyone has an idea about you and the Englishman.
They're looking for you.
I have done nothing against the rule of the ordinance.
Nothing? Maybe not yet.
We know where you are.
Harrison Ford and Kelly McGillis. Witness.
Hey there, it's Brian Davis, and for this week's episode, we're going to cover the movie Witness from 1985. The studio was Paramount. The release date was February 8th, 1985. The running time 112 minutes, and it was rated R. The budget was $12 million, and the box office took in $68.7 million, making it the 8th-ranked movie of 1985. Roger Ebert at the time, he loved it, gave it 4 out of 4 stars. Here's his review. Witness comes billed as a thriller, but it's so much more than a thriller that I wish they hadn't even used the word murder in the ads. This is, first of all, an electrifying and poignant love story. Then it is a movie about choices we make in life and the choices that other people make for us. Only then is it a thriller, one that Alfred Hitchcock would have been proud to make. It's about two independent, complicated people who begin to love each other because they have shared danger. They work well together, they respect each other, and because their physical attraction for each other is so strong, it almost becomes another character in the movie. Witness was directed by Peter Weir, the gifted Australian director of The Year of Living Dangerously. He has a strong and sure feeling for places, for the land, for the way that people build their self-regard by the way they do their work. In the whole middle section of the movie, he shows the man from the city and the simple Amish women within the context of the Amish community. It's masterful filmmaking. The thriller elements alone would command our attention. The love story by itself would be exciting. The ways of life in the Amish community are so well observed that they have a documentary feel. But all three elements work together so well that something organic is happening here. We're inside this story. Harrison Ford has never given a better performance in a movie. Kelly McGillis, the young actress who plays the Amish widow, has the kind of luminous simplicity about her. It is refreshing and even subtly erotic to see a woman who doesn't subscribe to all the standard man-woman programmed responses of modern society. We have lately been getting so many pallid, bloodless little movies, mostly recycled teenage exploitation films made by ambitious young stylish without a thought in their heads. Then Witness arrives like a fresh new day. It is a movie about adults, whose lives have dignity and whose choices matter to them. It is also one hell of a thriller. And that's the end of Ebert's review. So my introduction to Harrison Ford was, of course, Star Wars and Indiana Jones, but also American Graffiti, where he had a small role. By the time my parents rented Witness, it was probably too mature for me at 8 or 9 years old, but I was initially drawn because of the Lukas Haas character, who was roughly my age in the film. Over time, Witness was a film I returned to more often as I got older. Today, it's as Ebert described, one of Harrison Ford's finest films and a career full of them. All right, let's get into the making of the film. So the original script of Witness was very long and overwritten, according to producer Edward Feldman. But he loved the basic premise, a big city cop living in Amish country. Now, their basic story for Witness was originally a plot outline for the television series Gunsmoke in 1955. That's when it started. William Kelly and Earl W. Wallace had both been writers on Gunsmoke, and their original story had Marshall Dillon traveling to an Amish farm looking for a witness to a murder. As Ebert mentioned, Australian director Peter Weir was coming off a successful film starring Mel Gibson and Sigourney Weaver, and that was 1982's The Year of Living Dangerously. Weir would work again with Harrison Ford after Witness a year later in The Mosquito Coast. That was not as successful. However, he would bounce back with films like Dead Poets Society, Green Card, and The Truman Show. Weir was fascinated by making a movie around the Amish lifestyle, which really hadn't been done before in a modern big studio film. Also, this would be Weir's first American film. Harrison Ford jumped at the opportunity to play the main character, as it was completely different than the films that he had done before. Of course, Ford by now was a superstar after 3 Star Wars films and 2 Indiana Jones films, along with Blade Runner, which eventually became a cult classic. Ford did a lot of research with the Philadelphia Police Department to get his character down pat, while Weir did research about the Amish culture. The two were very complimentary about their working styles, which obviously translated on screen. While Ford was an established star, Kelly McGillis had only appeared in one film, 1983's Reuben, which was an independent film. Witness would be McGillis' breakout role, which she would surpass a year later with Top Gun. Casting the part of Rachel was difficult, as most young actresses didn't have the simple innocence needed for the role. McGillis was able to give a toned-down audition, which is exactly what Weir was looking for. McGillis lived with an Amish widow and her 7 children for a period before filming began to get the speech cadence down and observe the daily life of an Amish widowed mother. Like McGillis, though he was much younger, Lukas Haas had appeared in one film prior to Witness. That was 1983's Testament, directed by Lynn Littman. Before Peter Weir officially signed on to Witness, it was Littman who was attached to direct the film. And of course, Lukas Haas caught the eye of the casting directors because of Littman's connection. But according to Peter Weir, Haas essentially got the part the minute he read for the role. And if you watch the film, Haas really does shine. He's a key to this film. Weir went outside the box for his casting, and it turned out to be wonderful, like Alexander Godunov, a ballet dancer from Russia, and Jan Rubes, an ex-Czechoslovakian opera singer to play Kelly McGillis' father. And Patti LuPone was a Broadway actor exclusively, though she would later go on to have success in the TV series Life Goes On as the mother a few years later. Danny Glover was early on in his career. He was in Places of the Heart. That was his best-known film, which was made a year prior. It was also Viggo Mortensen's film debut. Weir and Ford wanted to be as honest as possible to the Amish lifestyle for this film, including hiring Amish consultants and locals to work as carpenters and electricians, but they refused to be shown on camera. However, some of the local Amish community did not want to participate or assist in the making of the film. They were afraid they were going to be exploited, and they told their community to avoid the film shoot. All right, let's get into the film. So it opens in Amish country outside of Lancaster, Pennsylvania, as many in the community attend the funeral of Jacob Lapp, the husband of Rachel, played by Kelly McGillis. Rachel is now a single mother to her 8-year-old son Samuel, played by Lukas Haas. And while this is a devastating loss for Rachel and her son, having a close-knit community around her gives her the support and empathy that a lot of widows usually wouldn't have outside of this type of community. After the funeral, Rachel and Samuel decide to take a train to Baltimore to visit her sister. It's kind of funny seeing the horse and carriage holding up traffic for a number of cars behind them, one being a semi-truck tailing them. Samuel is excited for this trip as he can finally see life outside of the Amish community. One person who is a bit worried is Daniel, played by Alexander Godunov. Remember him from The Money Pit. And you can tell that Daniel likes Rachel much more than just being friends. Rachel and Samuel arrive at the Philadelphia train station. A little girl is fascinated by Samuel as he's dressed up in a standard black suit and hat. The hustle and bustle of a big city train station is much different than their small town and is somewhat confusing for Rachel, but they sit and wait for their connecting train to arrive. Samuel is curious about everything in the station, including the water fountain. He decides to explore the station a bit. There's a funny scene where he approaches a Jewish man in traditional clothes who Samuel thought was another Amish person. After hours of waiting, Samuel needs to use the bathroom. He goes in by himself while Rachel knits in the waiting area. Samuel goes into a stall, and he walks by a man using the sink. 2 other men enter the bathroom. One of them, played by Danny Glover, nods to the other guy, who grabs the man by the sink and places a jacket over his head. Danny Glover then pulls out a knife and slashes the man across the throat. Samuel watches the whole thing peering through the stall. He makes a subtle noise which Danny Glover hears. He pulls out a gun and looks through each stall, but Samuel has locked his stall. Danny Glover finally gets to the locked stall and kicks it open. And Samuel does some quick thinking and crawls under the next stall before Danny Glover finds him. Samuel then stands on the toilet to avoid his feet from being shown. And Samuel does avoid being caught. The next scene shows the station inundated with police officers. Detective John Book, that's Harrison Ford, takes the lead on the case.
Rosie, move these people back. They shouldn't be this close. Get Schaefer on the phone. Get him down here now.
Right.
Richard, who found the body?
Right over there, sir.
How you doing, Pop? You found the body?
Not me, Daddy. I just reported it. It was the kid.
What kid?
I know what kid it was. It was the kid in the funny black threads over there.
Thanks, Pop.
How's he doing? I'm a police officer, ma'am. I have to talk to the boy. What's your name?
Samuel. Samuel Lapp.
And he's your son?
We were on our way to Baltimore. My sister is expecting us. Soon our train is leaving.
We'll get you on another train. Sam, the man who was killed tonight was a policeman. It's my job to find out what happened. I want you to tell me everything you saw when you went in the bathroom.
There were two.
Were two men?
I only saw one.
Does anybody know about this?
No, nobody's had a chance to talk to him.
What did he look like? The man that you saw?
He was like him.
Was a black man? He had black skin?
Yeah. But not stumpig.
Stumpig? What's stumpig?
On a farm, when a pig is born small like that, it's stumpig. A runt.
So he wasn't a runt. He was a big guy? Like me?
Big guy.
Sergeant Eldon Carter, played by Brent Jennings, wasn't thrilled at being calling little. By the way, if you saw the movie Moneyball, Brent Jennings played the Oakland A's third base coach Ron Washington. John and Eldon take Rachel and Samuel to the police station to see if Samuel can identify a suspect they have in custody. Rachel does not want to get involved, especially in a world they don't really belong to, but John calmly explains that the laws still do apply to them, and her son is a material witness to a homicide. But before they go to the station, they stop by a bar to grab an ex-con who still gets into trouble, but it's not Danny Glover. And Samuel says it isn't him. In the meantime, John knows if they take Rachel and Samuel to a hotel, they'll leave. Instead, John takes them to his sister's house, and that's Elaine, played by Patty Lupon. Of course, again, she was in Life Goes On. They're taken to a police station the next morning. Samuel is taken to a room so he can go through a police lineup, but none of the men are Danny Glover. John and Samuel go through the mugshots next, along with wandering around the station with some of the handcuffed criminals. While wandering, Samuel sees a newspaper article posted in a display case. In the article is a photo of Lieutenant James McFree. Guess who that is? Danny Glover. John sees a wide-eyed Samuel, and Samuel simply points to the photo. John is stunned, to say the least. John that night goes to the home of his chief, Paul Schaefer, played by Joseph Sommer, and John tells them that it's McPhee who committed the murder. John's theory is that since McPhee heads the narcotics team, he's dirty and steals the drugs and unused chemicals the bus take in, and then he sells them to the dealers to make their street drugs. The guy that McPhee killed was an undercover cop that was investigating McPhee. That night, as John goes to his apartment through the parking garage, he's ambushed by McPhee. John returns fire on McPhee, who flees, but John is wounded. Who else knew that John was investigating McPhee? That's right, his chief, Paul Schaefer. You know those dirty David Letterman band members, never trust them. Anyway, John's in deep shit now, and he can trust no one. He goes back to his sister's house to get Rachel and Samuel.
It's John. He says you have to leave now. He says it's urgent. I don't know. Get to us quickly. John? John?
Put my car in the garage and close the door.
John, I don't understand any of this.
You don't know anything, okay? I borrowed your car, right? I didn't say why. You never heard of that woman and her boy.
John, please tell me why.
Just do it.
You said we would be safe in Philadelphia.
Well, I was wrong.
Did you deliver the kid's interview to Schaefer?
No.
I want all the paperwork on this job disappeared. Tonight. You understand?
John, do you know what you're telling me to do?
Just do it, man. I'm gonna disappear for a couple of days.
John, what's going on, man? What is happening?
I'll call you when I can. And partner, want you back. Schaefer's in this thing too.
Eldon does as John asks and takes the Samuel file out of the police station. Schaefer goes to Elaine's house and tries to intimidate her into telling him where John went, but even she doesn't know where he went. John decides to take Rachel and Samuel back to their home to keep them safe. John wants to keep moving, but his wound hasn't been treated, and he passes out. Rachel decides to keep him with her and her father Eli and nurse him back to health, though Eli is opposed to this and worried that if John dies under their care, they'll be in further danger. But Rachel is adamant that they must help him to protect Samuel. John is their only hope to fight off the corrupt police. Schaefer and McPhee are at a disadvantage because even back in the 1980s, they were still reliant on technology to assist them in solving crimes. Even something like a telephone doesn't exist in Amish country. If you don't want to be found, the Amish country is a good place to get lost. After 2 grueling days, John does recover with round-the-clock care from Rachel. One morning, Samuel is curious and looks through the drawer in John's room and finds his gun. John immediately explains that he should never touch it without him being in the room. Eli decides to further explain to him later that night.
This gun of the hand is for the taking of human life. We believe it is wrong to take life. That is only for God. Many times wars have come, and people have said to us, you must fight, you must kill. It is the only way to preserve the good. But Samuel, there is never only one way. Remember that. Would you kill another man?
I would only kill a bad man.
Only the bad man, I see. And you know these bad men by sight? You are able to look into their hearts and see this badness?
I can see what they do. I have seen it.
And having seen, you become one of them. Don't you understand? What you take into your hands, you take into your heart. Wherefore, come out from among them and be ye separate, saith the Lord. And touch not the unclean thing. Go and finish your chores now.
Yes, Grandfather.
The next morning, John insists on going into town to use a payphone. Eli takes him while also taking Samuel to school. John calls Eldon to get some updates. Eldon tells John to stay out of sight and to not go after Schaefer yet. Eldon will try to do some work without getting noticed. This gives John the opportunity to learn about the Amish customs and how they live their daily lives.
See the string? It goes to the wheel, and it makes the wheel turn around. And then it makes this wire pump the pump over there into the well, and the well's water goes into the house.
Yeah?
This place really echoes. Hello?
What's up there?
Corn. Would you like to hold my kitten? I'll show you how to do a back rub on them. You hold them like that, you push their head back, and you start rubbing their neck.
Eli puts John to work to help on the farm.
Wach auf. Wach auf, geh nicht von schlafen. It's 4:30, time for milking. Milking stool. Milking hat. Where's the milk? Firm grip. Pinch the top off and squeeze. Didn't you hear me? Squeeze.
I am squeezing.
You never had your hands on a teat before?
Not one this big.
Oh, hey, I got it. I got it.
Let's think. Go ahead.
Yeah, early morning cow milking wasn't what John had in mind. Also, speaking of not having in mind, is Daniel having another man staying with Rachel. While he's not overt with his disdain of John, you can tell he's not thrilled.
Eli said I could use his tools. I'm trying to fix that birdhouse.
I brought you some lemonade.
Oh, great. Thanks. What happened to Hochleitner?
He went home. He's a friend of the family. He's like a son to Eli. You know carpentry.
Yeah. A bit.
Can you do anything else?
Whacking. I'm hell at whacking.
Whacking's not much use on a farm. Tomorrow I'll let out those trousers for you.
Good.
I told Eli that you're a carpenter.
Hold this up closer, will you?
He said you could come to Zook's barn raising.
Well, if I'm still here.
Weenie roasts. I don't know anything about weenie roasts. That's a West Coast thing.
Right.
Let's have some letters on weenie roasts. Why not? Presenting golden oldies. We've got some great ones and some old ones coming right up. Here's one takes me back. I'm afraid to say it dates me. Maybe it dates you.
Oh, this is great. This is the best. Don't know much biology. Don't know much about science books. Don't know much about the French literature. But I do know that I love you. And I know that if you love me too, what a wonderful world this would be. Don't know much about geography. Don't know much trigonometry. Don't know much about algebra. Don't know what a slide rule is for. But I do know 1 and 1 is 2. And if this one could be with you, what a wonderful world this would be. I'm saying to be an A student, but I'm trying to be. For maybe by being an A student, baby, I can win your love for me. Don't know much about history. Don't know much biology. Don't know much about science.
much about the friends I took. But I do know that I love you. And I know that if you love me true, what a wonderful world this would be. La da 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 ya. History. Biology. Wa da 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 ya. Science book. Friends I took. But I do know that I love you. Rachel, you love me too. What a wonderful world this would be.
While Rachel and John have fun dancing, there are moments where you can sense they might kiss, but they both show some restraint. However, Eli is not thrilled to catch them alone in the barn, even if it's just dancing.
What is it with you? Is this the ordinance?
I have done nothing against the rule of the ordinance.
Nothing? You bring this man to our house with his gun of the hand. You bring fear to this house. Fear of English with guns coming after.
I've committed no sin.
Maybe not yet. But Rachel, it does not look. You know there has been talk. Talk about going to the bishop and having you shunned.
It is idle talk.
Oh, do not take it lightly, Rachel. They can do it. They can do it just like that. You know what it means, shunning. I cannot sit at table with you. I cannot take a thing from your hand. I cannot go to worship with you. Oh, child, do not go so far.
I'm not a child.
But you are acting like one.
I'll be the judge of that.
No. They will be the judge of that, and so will I.
Schaefer tries to put the heat on Eldon to find out where John is, guessing that he's with the Amish. In the meantime, John participates in the building of a barn. This is a wonderful scene where everyone in the community pitches in to help a recently married couple. While the lack of technology would definitely be a hard learning curve for me, the sense of helping your fellow neighbor is a very cool thing to witness. No pun intended. What isn't great is how the tourists like to gawk and treat the Amish country like they're animals at a zoo. We get one of the best scenes in the film where Eli and John are in town one day.
Look, you look. It takes half hour to take back.
It happens sometimes. Do nothing.
I asked you to move this bucket the horse. Come on. Come on, Goldilocks.
Hey,
don't you speak English?
You don't hear very good, do you?
Don't speak English.
On the chin,
And
The chin, yeah.
you look better, buddy.
What's next, then? Come on down, Jack.
Hey, they're not allowed to fight, Greg.
You a man or what?
Yeah, that's right. No fighting. They won't fight for their country either.
It's not our way.
But it's my way.
Book. No.
How's it look?
It looks great. Give it to me.
Oh, okay. Hey, smell this up.
Oh,
Here comes another one. Look at this. Woo. Woo.
It's all right, Book.
Hey, watch it, Frank. He's going to hit you with his Bible.
Oh. You're making a mistake.
Hey.
Boom.
Please.
Somebody give me a handkerchief. He's bleeding.
Come on. You didn't have to break my soul. You all right?
Never seen anything like it in all my years.
He's from Ohio, my cousin.
Well, them Ohio Amish must be different. Round here, the brethren don't have anything like that kind of fight in them.
Good day to you, Mr. Lamb. This ain't good for the tourist trade, you know. Tell that to your Ohio friends.
One of our kids broke his nose. He was with old Eli Lapp.
While I imagine everyone outside the Amish community would applaud what John did, it's simply not the Amish way of handling things. And by doing this, John has made himself noticed by the local police. All right, there's about 20 minutes remaining and plenty left to answer. Will John and Rachel become intimate? Will John be able to fend off Schaefer and McPhee and protect Rachel and Samuel? Well, it's all answered in the terrific ending. There are many wonderful things about this film, but most of all is its subtlety. Often this film says more without actual dialogue, which is terrific filmmaking. This is often forgotten in Harrison Ford's terrific filmography, but it's arguably one of his finest films and performances, which says a lot. If you've never seen this film, or if it's been years since you've seen it, definitely check it out. You will not be disappointed. There was a deleted scene that it was included in the TV version of the film where Rachel and Samuel are staying with Elaine, and Rachel gets Elaine's kids to actually help clean the kitchen. Samuel is also introduced to video games.
Jason? Billy? Holy cow.
Oh, good morning.
Hi, Jason. Hi, Billy. You didn't have to clean my kitchen.
Oh, I wanted to. It was very kind of you to take us in last night. Anyway, I needed something to do. May I get you some coffee?
Sure. You're not carrying a bullwhip. How did you manage to put my kids to work?
Oh, I made it a contest. The one who does best gets his cereal back first. Anyway, children like to help. They only need to be kept after a little bit.
Oh, is that so? No offense, lady, but I'm not so sure I like the idea of your coming in here and turning the place upside down.
Oh, I didn't...
I know exactly what you meant. Listen, maybe I'm not a world-class housefrau, but maybe I don't have time to polish the china or keep after the kids. It's none of your business, but I don't happen to have a man around here full-time. So maybe I'm not Mary Poppins, but maybe I don't need to have it jammed down my throat like this. There. Is that clean enough for you?
Jeez, Elaine. Somebody die and leave you a broom?
Oh, go to hell, Fred!
It's eating her.
I brought you your coffee. I didn't mean to criticize you. I didn't mean it that way.
It's okay. I shouldn't have blown my top. I am... What's so funny?
Fred. The way he looked when you screamed at him.
Oh, God, Fred.
At home, you'd never hear a woman scream at a man that way.
Why not?
I just wouldn't. It's not the Amish way. But it might have done me good if I could have screamed at your brother last night.
Listen. My brother John, I don't know. I don't even know if he's my brother Johnny. We're so different. Don't take him seriously. He's a policeman, you know? That's all an act. He's an idiot. I love my brother, but he's a real dope. Sure, okay.
Okay.
All right, some fun facts. Even though the film had a major star in it, like Harrison Ford, the film was still a surprise hit, as it wasn't a typical action blockbuster like Ford's past work. Witness was nominated for 8 Oscars and won 2. It won Best Original Screenplay and Best Film Editing. Now, for the 6 losses. It lost Best Picture to Out of Africa. Peter Weir lost Best Director to Sidney Pollack for Out of Africa. Harrison Ford lost Best Actor to William Hurt for Kiss of the Spider-Woman. By the way, this was Harrison Ford's only Oscar nomination as Best Actor. Witness lost Best Art Direction to Out of Africa. Best Cinematography lost to Out of Africa. And Best Original Score, guess what? It lost to Out of Africa. Fucking out of Africa, man. By the way, I tried to watch Out of Africa not too long ago. I couldn't even get through the whole movie. I was bored out of my mind. And I love Robert Redford and Meryl Streep. If I'm going to go that year, give me Back to the Future, give me Witness, Murphy's Romance, Cocoon, Silverado, Ladyhawk, Remo Williams, or Runaway Train over Out of Africa. All of those films were nominated for an Oscar. Plus a slew of non-nominated films that came out in 1985 were all better than Out of Africa, but I digress. Harrison Ford was a carpenter before he became an actor, so the scenes where the community built a new barn, well, that wasn't difficult for Ford. Sylvester Stallone was an early choice for the role of John Book. When he turned down the role, he said it was one of the worst decisions of his career. Jack Nicholson was also offered the role of John Book, and while he liked the script, there wasn't a director he liked that was attached to the film at that point, so he passed on it. And Burt Reynolds said in his autobiography that he wanted the lead role and considered calling director Peter Weir to lobby for it, but then he had second thoughts and backed off. There were other actors considered for the role of John Book: Kevin Costner, Clint Eastwood, Richard Gere, and Mel Gibson. Isabella Rossellini was offered the role of Rachel, but had to turn it down because of scheduling conflicts. I think she could have pulled it off, too. All right, two guys that always pull off great episodes and interviews is my special guests, Metal Mike Tyler and Bill Roseberry. Did they enjoy Witness as much as I did? Well, let's just find out now. And I'll be back next week to talk about yet another random movie from my DVD collection. All right, we're back with the dynamic duo of Metal Mike Tyler and Bill Roseberry. Welcome back, boys.
Hey, Brian, I hope you don't mind. I took the pleasure of getting up early this morning and milking your cow.
As you do every morning. Come on.
I thought Brian didn't have a cow. I thought he had a bull.
Oh, let me go brush my teeth then. Oh, wait, wrong Amish movie.
Yeah. This was
Rumspringa! Is that the right one?
That was a good one too. What was that movie called?
Sex Drive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is a great movie, by the way, which we will cover at some point. Yeah. This was not the what would be the Witness porno from the 80s? What would we call it? Whiteness? I don't know.
There is the part in there where he's telling him to just pull on the teats.
Yeah, that's true.
He's milking the cow, yeah.
That's right. I got nipples, Greg. Want to milk me? Yeah. So Mike was totally on board when I first mentioned this film, but Bill hadn't actually seen it. I don't think you've seen it before, right, Bill? Or it was a long time ago?
I had seen it once, and I liked it, but I just didn't know a whole lot about it, and I didn't own it. And the more I thought about it, I'm like, you know what? I should get this.
So why wasn't Witness more on your radar, Bill?
Well, it was one of those movies that when I was growing up, we loved Harrison Ford, and mom and dad rented it, but it was one that they watched without me. I would have been 9 when this came out. It's probably not really, I don't know. I look at it now and it's like I was the same age as Lukas Haas, so maybe it would have resonated with me more, but I didn't watch it until I was an adult.
Okay.
I would say I was probably in my 30s, maybe pushing 40 before I ever saw Witness.
Wow.
And yeah, I liked it. But I hadn't added it to my collection. But after we talked about it, I went ahead and thought, you know what? I'll add it. And we got it and we watched it again. And I think I enjoyed it more this time around than I did even the first time.
That's great. Yeah. And then, Mike, you just, of course, rewatched the film. And was it better than you remember or worse? And Bill, we'll eventually get to you. What was your initial impression after your first viewing? But let's start with Mike.
You mean this rewatch?
Yeah, was it better or worse?
I would say it was about as good as I remembered it being. I mean, Witness is a weird thing because it's one of those movies that for whatever reason is not in my movie collection, even though I don't really collect as much physical media as I used to. But I always liked it. I always thought it was a good movie. I thought Harrison Ford was great, and I thought it had a good cast. I thought it was well done. I remember watching it for the first time on VHS with my parents as a kid. and then a few years later it being on cable and being on cable quite often. So, whenever it would come on, man, sometimes it was one of those movies where you could kind of like come in the middle of it. And because you've seen it before, you're like, oh, okay, I'll just stay here and watch the rest of this movie.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So yeah, it's a movie I always liked. My favorite, well, I don't want to give anything away, but there's a favorite part I had I thought was badass.
I think I know that part. Yeah.
Harrison Ford.
Yes.
And, it's just a cool movie, man. And the fact that you had this guy who's from a whole other Philadelphia narcotics cop, he's this cop,
Single guy, yeah.
or, homicide. And and he finds out there's corruption in his department. There's, and now he's all of a sudden thrust in this whole other world.
Yep.
Because let's be honest, the Amish people, they're good people, but it's a different world that they live in than us, the English, as they like to call us. And just a cool movie. I liked it, man.
Yeah.
A lot.
And then, Bill, what was your initial impression from this kind of first viewing?
It was good. I was like, man, I should have watched that when I was younger. But like I said, I just kind of watched it the first time. I was like, oh, that was a good movie, and then moved on from it. And I'd often thought, man, I wouldn't mind maybe checking that out again. And then when you brought it up for us to be on here, I watched it again. I actually enjoyed it more the second time. And I think some of the things that stand out to me is like seeing guys like Danny Glover and Viggo Mortensen. And now I'm like, oh, it's Viggo Mortensen and Danny Glover, but they were
then
nobody then. Yeah. I mean, Danny Glover had been an Iceman, I think.
Yeah.
And he was just a bit part in that. That was before. And then the year that he did this, he did The Color Purple.
That's right.
And that kind of put him on the map. But I mean, he's Sergeant Murtaugh, man. It was 87 is what created Danny Glover. When he did Lethal Weapon. Watching Danny Glover as a bad guy is kind of different. And man, now his name's escaping me. The guy who was in Die Hard. I got it open here.
Alexander Goodenough?
Alexander Goodenough, yeah. Goodenough. I mean, I like him too. I mean, from Die Hard and The Money Pit, you know. So he was
The Money Pit especially.
This was his first movie.
Yeah.
Was Witness. So that put him on the map too. So yeah, and Lukas Haas, I mean, he was good as the kid. So it's got a good Kelly McGillis. I mean, I'm taken back. I mean, I don't know. I mean, she's okay. She can be attractive and everything. I mean, she's an okay actress, but I mean, she's not anything that I'm looking to. Oh, it's Kelly McGillis. I got to watch this movie because she's such a great actress.
Sure.
She's so hot. I mean, I don't have anything against her, but she's just kind of there. And I thought she did a good job in this movie.
We'll come back to her too, but I'm glad you brought up Danny Glover because you think about those two films you mentioned with The Color Purple and this. He's a bad guy, but now he's synonymous with being a good guy because you just think of him as Murtaugh and other movies that he was in.
Other movies he did.
Yeah,
and then of course he played Dietz in Lonesome and Dove.
Right.
He was a total sweetheart of a guy in that. And
Silverado.
Another movie, he did.
I don't want to shoot you, and you don't want to be dead.
He did Silverado in the same year too. All those were 85. I forgot about that. So he was great in Silverado. That was the one. That was the first thing I really remembered him in was Silverado because I did watch that back then. But like I said, once he was Murtaugh, he was
Murtaugh forever.
He was in everybody's house, at that point. So he was a big deal.
I think Witness is kind of a sweet spot for Harrison Ford because there's still some action in the film, but it's kind of more like a thriller suspense. It's almost like a precursor to kind of what Jack Ryan was like a few years later. So do you guys prefer his more straight up action films like Indiana Jones, or do you want a blend of nuances? We'll start with Mike.
I like both. I like both. I mean, Harrison's a guy usually, even if it wasn't a movie I didn't care for, he was always good in it. You know what I'm trying to say? And yeah, I liked it when he would play, one of my favorite movies he ever did, and it's not an action movie at all, but Presumed Innocence.
Great movie.
Especially the way they do it to where you start wondering, fuck, did he do it? Did he kill this chick, man?
That's right.
Because he was getting a little stalky in that, man. He was like all hovering outside her. I'm like, bro, what are you doing, man? What are you doing, bro?
You bring up Witness, and you were talking about it as a kind of the acting vehicle for Harrison Ford, where there's action still, but it's more of a, it's showing off his acting chops. And at that time, that was probably the movie that set him up to be able to do some more of those things. Because at that point, he'd done Indiana Jones and Star Wars and Blade Runner.
Yeah, that was
those were all considered action movies, really. I mean, Blade Runner, maybe not full on action, but it's still a sci-fi movie.
I think Blade Runner kind of opened the door for movies like Witness, though.
But I think Witness was the one that really opened the door for him to do more than just be an action star.
Yeah, agreed. And this one came out, and it's not one of my favorite films, but after this, he did Mosquito Coast, which I think is more of a drama. So things like that. So yeah, 100%.
He was stretching. He was definitely stretching, trying different things. Man.
He was up for an Academy Award for this.
He should be. I mean, I think this is
where he was. And that was the first time he'd been nominated for Academy Award, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah.
Exactly. So I think a few folks remember what they remember about Witness. It's kind of the fish out of water plot point, nothing new. And it's one of the few major studio films to kind of delve into the Amish lifestyle. Now, Mike kind of mentioned Sex Drive, but this is definitely more serious. What did you like or dislike about having the Amish as a major plot point? We'll start with Bill.
Oh, I loved it. I thought it was something that made it a unique film. I mean, because you hadn't really seen that. And seeing it from a serious point of view, I mean, for them to be involved in something like that and the culture change, like I love the part where the guys are messing with Alexander Goodenough and you know, the dad is like, don't do anything to Harrison Ford, you know, don't do anything. And he's like, we just turned the other cheek or whatever. And he's like, well, not where I come from. And he got out and he started beating that guy's ass. And I mean, all the Amish people are freaking out, but it's like just little things that it's like
horrified. They were horrified.
Yeah, horrified by him. And
he's our cousin from out.
Yeah. They learn, you know, they kind of learned from each other, you know, at the end now, the way he was ended up, they appreciated that he was the whole thing where you're seeing these two different types of cultures kind of, you know, clash, initially clash and then learn from each other. I mean, I thought that was cool.
Yeah. How about you, Mike?
Well, this is what it's like when worlds collide.
Yeah.
So, I loved it. I mean, because Spider. For one thing, it literally put a spin on the whole witness protection kind of story, you know, and the fact that the hunter becomes the hunted, because once he finds out, I mean, his boss kind of does a Dudley Smith on him, only instead of trying to kill him himself, where Dudley just got the drop on poor old Jack Vincennes and LA Confidential, he sends Danny after him. And then that's immediately when Harrison his character realizes, oh, fuck, my boss is in on it. Like, you know, I mean, who do I trust? Where do I go? He really had even if he hadn't got shot, he really had no choice but to hide out to where he was at.
Yeah.
Him getting shot, though, made the situation a lot more dire, where the Amish, God-fearing Christian people, they're not going to turn him out, even though they really didn't want him there.
That's right.
Because he's an outsider. He's English. He's one of the English. It was really cool. I liked it, man.
Yeah. You know, we kind of touched upon Kelly McGillis, and most people only remember her from Top Gun. But really, her breakout role is Witness. How did you like her in Witness? And if you didn't like her, who would you have selected instead of her? We'll start with Mike on this.
Honestly, I had no problem with Kelly. I never had, you know, and I think she was able to project, because to me, to play an Amish woman, you got to project some kind of wholesomeness where Kelly's an attractive woman. But if you get like some smoke show, like, okay, I love Kathleen Turner, but she could never have played that part back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Like too sultry, too seductive.
Yeah.
You had to have somebody who was attractive, but yet projected that wholesomeness of an Amish woman. And I think he did, man. I don't know if you could have got, I mean, especially when you look back at
who was hot then.
Who was really popular at the time.
Deborah Winger probably could have done it.
Meryl Streep.
Meryl Streep.
Yeah, Meryl. Well, I mean, Meryl could have played
anything.
You know, Robert De Niro should play anything.
Meryl would have been good in it in that role. You're right.
You're right.
Glenn Close, maybe. There's
Glenn Close is a good call.
Yeah, but Glenn Close isn't attractive. Sorry, Glenn. You're a great actress.
She's different than well, maybe a Mary Steenburgen, because I think of Back to the Future Part 3.
Mary could have done it, and a very good actress.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so there were a handful of them. I don't, like I was saying, I wasn't meaning to disparage Kelly McGillis's, her
acting ability,
her performance.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't bad, but I just think that I think you could have interchanged
a
lot more. I don't think that there was anything that she did that was like that blew me away, but there wasn't anything that she was like,
but I guess
she
what I'm
ruined
trying to
the
say is I
movie.
understand why they casted her on the part.
Sure.
Yeah, you're not gonna cast Kim Basinger. I get. It
wouldn't work.
Example.
Yeah, from that time frame. But no, I mean, I think I think all the ones that I mentioned would have been
just as good. Yeah.
Glenn Close, still, even if you don't think she's attractive, she was in movies that were, Fatal Attraction at that time. I mean,
if anything, she played against type in Fatal Attraction. Kim Basinger would have been the pick for Fatal Attraction, but it wouldn't have worked as well.
Sure. Yeah.
The other movie she did with Jeff Bridges.
Yes.
Thriller. That was a good one.
Yes. I know exactly. It's a great movie.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah.
I'll look it up. I got my IMDb up here. I'm
Jagged Edge.
Jagged Edge is great. That is a terrific thriller.
Never seen that. Never seen it.
I own that. We will talk about that one. So good.
Robert Loggia is fucking great in.
There's another one with Jeff Bridges and Jane Fonda that is similar to Jagged Edge too. I'm trying to remember what that one. The Morning After.
Yeah,
that's another good one
too.
Yeah,
I did see that when I was a kid. I don't remember anything about it though, but I remember seeing that.
Kind of a neo noir. Both of them are kind of like neo noirs.
Yes, they are.
So I think we're going to all agree on this one. We got to mention Lukas Haas because having a young actor in films can make or break a film. I think he knocks out of the park in Witness. What do you guys think? We'll start with Bill.
I agree. I look, like I said, I wish I would have watched this when I was 9. I think maybe it would have had a more profound effect on me because he's exactly the same age as me.
Yeah.
And watching it now puts it in perspective of how much older Harrison Ford is than me.
Man, I know.
Wow. And Viggo Mortensen and Danny Glover, it made me sad watching it now. I'm like, whoa, he's the same age as I was. And look at these guys are all grown ass men. That means they're old ass men now.
They were probably younger when they filmed that than
we are now.
Sure.
Yeah,
right.
It is
right.
mindful.
Yeah, that's a trip. Yeah.
But Lukas Haas, I thought, did a phenomenal job. And what a smart little kid. The way he reacted when Danny killed the guy in the bathroom at the beginning of the movie to not get caught.
Yep.
Because Danny would have offed that kid.
In a second.
Glover was a piece of shit in that. I mean, he didn't have any redeeming qualities. I wish maybe that's one thing I maybe give another layer of complexity to that character a little bit, though. You know, I mean, because I think Danny could have done more with that character. You know,
that's fair.
It definitely, you could have made him. He was just basically shows up to kill people. You know, he didn't have that extra layer of complexity. They put that in with the boss.
He had a lot of
no, he's a
no, he
really.
didn't. Yeah.
He was kind of just a stock villain. You know. Yeah,
stock villain, but he did a good job.
He did. He pulled it off. Mike, how did you feel about Lukas Haas?
I thought the kid did a great job, especially the way he's all bright-eyed and like when he first went to the world of English, and he's all like, "Wow," you know, and he's almost culture shock. And then he sees that, and it was a smart little fella, though. I mean, what he did was slick. I'm like, this kid's no dummy, and I thought he did a great job. I've always thought Lukas was a good actor, even even other things I've seen him in. It's a shame he doesn't. It's a shame some of these child stars don't get more work as they get older.
Last thing I can remember seeing him in was Inception.
Oh yeah,
I might be wrong. Maybe it's been since then, but yeah, I mean that's the last thing I remember seeing him in was Inception, and that's been over a decade ago now.
Yeah. So this would have been the 1986 Oscars, but just 1985. Out of Africa steals the show Oscars wise. I tried to revisit it. It is boring as shit. And I love Robert Redford and Meryl Streep. No way. I would have much rather watched Witness, Back to the Future. I think all of these kind of stand the test of time. Color Purple, even though it's kind of a brutal movie to watch, I think it's a better movie. Even Cocoon, I like much better than that. Why did Out of Africa get all the love it did? We'll start with Mike. Bill, go ahead.
Because it's Robert Redford and Meryl Streep
at the time.
I mean, I really think that's the only reason why. My parents, my mom has bitched. I've never watched it because I've listened to my mom bitch about it for so long. They went to the show to see it and got the neighbor to watch me, and I remember her coming home and just bitching about how terrible and slow it was.
Yep.
And then when it won a bunch of Oscars, she bitched more. If I was to bring it up tomorrow, we're recording this tomorrow's Mother's Day. If I bring it up tomorrow, she'll bitch about it again. She's always hated it, so I've never even given it a chance.
I should have had your mom on. We'd be fast friends. So yeah. Absolutely. Even Mask came out this year with Cher and Eric Stoltz. I love that movie too.
I need to watch that.
Yeah.
Now, they wanted me to watch it when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And Rocky Dennis scared the living shit out of me.
I could see why.
I was horrified of him.
Yeah.
When that movie came out, I mean, Rocky Dennis was as scary to me as Freddy Krueger.
I get it.
Not watch it.
8-9 years
Yeah.
old.
So they wanted me to watch it. They go, Bill, this is my mom.
It's
It's
a great
such a great movie.
It is.
And I need to go back now. He doesn't.
And if you watch like a biography about him, they did an amazing job with the makeup because it looks almost exactly like him. That's how he looks.
I know. I've seen it. So.
It was
And I thought The Elephant Man was a great movie. I mean, when I watched it, so I mean, I'm sure it's going to be the same ilk as that.
Well, from what I understand, that movie's pretty accurate to
Yeah.
who
It
Rocky
is.
He was, and all I gotta say, man, is he was quite a character.
Yeah.
He was.
Yeah, he was, and smart. Man, was that kid smart.
And we're going off on a tangent, but Cher doesn't get enough credit as an actress. She's a great actress. Check out some movies in the 80s. Yeah,
I've never watched Moonstruck either.
It's another great one. She was in one with Meryl Streep, her very first film about Silkwood's great. I think she's really good in Suspect, where she defends Dennis
Quaid.
No, she's going against Dennis Quaid. She's trying to defend. I'm trying to remember his name. He's going to be in the new Naked Gun.
Liam Neeson.
Liam Neeson. He's like a mute. So yeah, very good film. Okay, so removing Star Wars and Indiana Jones, what are your top 3 Harrison Ford movies? We'll start with Mike.
That's a good question, man. Removing Star Wars and Indiana Jones, I would have to say Presumed Innocent would be on that list.
Okay.
I almost need to go through his filmography. The guy's made.
I know.
Clear and Present Danger was pretty damn good.
So you prefer that over Patriot Games?
No, wait. Patriot Games is the one I'm thinking.
Okay.
I did like Clear and Present Danger. Ain't that the one where he goes
to Latin America?
The president to get fuck.
Yes.
Like he's like, how dare you speak? I know. How dare you, sir? I did like that movie. I thought that was a really good one. And you know what? Witness, man. I got to throw Witness on there. I think Witness was a damn good movie, man.
Yeah.
We're talking off the top of my head. I'd have to almost be a list.
You totally dropped the ball for what you'd say, because I know you and you're not thinking. He said, besides Indiana Jones and Star Wars.
Oh, Blade Runner.
Blade Runner, of course.
Number one. Blade Runner's your number one by far. Blade Runner might be
Blade Runner, then
Presumed. Then probably Witness.
Then Witness, yeah.
How about you, Bill?
For me, I would probably say Patriot Games 3, The Fugitive 2.
And I forgot about that one.
And you know what? Actually, I'm going to say Blade Runner 2 and The Fugitive 1.
Okay.
Another one that we haven't mentioned that I really love is The Devil's Own.
Oh, okay.
Brad Pitt. Great movie.
I'll tell you,
and that one's pretty
that
underrated.
I think's underrated because he essentially plays a villain, but what lies beneath. You're gonna he's gonna be so favorite in it, and you don't like it.
I saw that a long time. Yeah.
Thought he did a great job. And the other
her fish face pissed me off.
But here's the one thing I was gonna say. Bill sent this to me a while back, Brian.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a picture of Harrison Ford, with the eye from the
Raiders.
Treasure he was trying to get before he gets the Ark.
Yep.
Raiders of the Lost Ark was made in 1981 and took place in 1936. If they did a remake next year with the same time gap, it would take place in 1981. Yeah, we're that old.
It's true.
Like, wow. And that's some, when you think about it.
Mind blowing.
Because when I was a little kid, I thought 1936, World War II, that was a long time ago. My grandpa was, but now I'm that guy.
I know.
like, whoa.
I don't want to go off on too much of a tangent, but it seems like so much more changed from then to 81, from 81 to now. You could say the internet, yes, of course. But no, I mean, go from black and white to there wasn't even TV in 1936. There seems like such a gap. Another movie I'm going to throw in real quick, Working Girl. It's a fun, really fun comedy.
Never watched that either.
Yeah,
so.
That's another good one. Go ahead, Mike.
The only thing I wanted to add on to that, dude, is I think really the technological advances that mankind made in the 20th century alone.
Sure. Yeah.
It was
amazing.
Insane. Yeah. So
the Amish didn't use any of them.
Exactly.
And the Amish was like,
trying to pull you back.
That's right. Thank you, Bill.
And I love that. That's great, man. Because the Amish is like, we're not having any of the English ways.
See, normally we don't video. I could do the wrap it up, but no, I'm not going to do that. All right, some final thoughts. We'll start with Bill. Again, I think you're happy that you finally gave this one an honest shot.
Yeah, I am. And it's something that. I thank you for, because I had watched it that one time, and when you asked us to do it, I thought, you know what, I'll just go ahead and get it, and we'll watch it again. And I really enjoyed it. Him and I watched it a while back, and I was like, man, this is really good.
Mm-hmm.
Watching it a second time, and like I said, I think it's cool seeing a 9-year-old Lukas Haas and how good job he did, and then seeing unknown Viggo Mortensen and Danny Glover, and I would have liked seeing Alexander Goodenough get some more roles too. It sucked that he died so young.
Yeah,
he was cool. And I agree with what you said. I loved him in Die Hard too, but Money Pit.
Oh, it's hilarious. And
that was his
very
role.
funny.
That's an underrated comedy, Money.
It is, and it's a remake of Mr. Blanding's Builds His Dream House with Myrna Loy and Cary Grant. But they are
also funny
and so much different. You want to talk about time gap? One's in the 40s, one's in the 80s. So
right. Yeah, that would be a fun one to cover if we ever did Money Pit.
100%. Well, look, guys, we got to stay alive for at least 50 more years, because that's
right. Yeah, I know.
Right. Yeah,
me too. Yeah.
Mike, what are your final thoughts? Obviously, I think you enjoyed this just as much than the first time you saw it.
Yeah, dude. And I think it's held up really, really well. Some movies are dated. Like they're of their time. Witness, I think, is a story that could take place right now.
Sure.
We got the internet and everything, but I do think it would. In fact, it'd be even more like, oh shit, because the Amish don't use any modern technology at all. So and I love the part where the corrupt police chief, or the guy that's the head of, I believe, the narcotics division, is like, well, why can't you find these people? And they're like, bro, they're off the grid.
That's right.
They're Amish. Many of them have the same names. And,
can't track their GPS.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. But even then, you didn't have the internet, but it was a lot easier to track down people than, well, now it's a lot easier, but even then it was fairly easy. But when you don't use a lot of the things, when you're in a society that doesn't use the things that the Amish don't use, it made it even harder for them. So yeah. Really cool movie, man.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that's why I always tell Lindsay, if you notice, there's far less serial killers now than there were in the 60s, 70s, 80s, because everyone's trackable now. You can find anyone now, which is good. It's bad and it's good. It's great for that. But our autonomy is kind of gone now too, which is sad. Well, thank you guys for doing this. The good part about the internet is we can chat. You guys are in the Midwest. I'm out near California.
If it weren't for the internet,
that's right.
Talking about the internet, man.
Yeah.
Bemoan it all you want, but it's got its good and it's got its bad.
Does.
Good thing we're not Amish.
That's right.
Right. From Sprina.
If you enjoy this podcast and are an iTunes user, please do the show a favor and head on over to the official iTunes page for Damn Good Movie Memories. Be sure to leave a rating and a review. This will allow the show to appear higher in the algorithm and spread the joy of this podcast to the masses. If you are not an iTunes user, you can still listen and subscribe on Podbean at damngoodmoviememories.podbean.com. Be sure to like us on Facebook under our Damn Good Movie Memories page. You can also listen to a limited number of episodes on YouTube. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode, and be sure to tune in next week for an all-new episode of Damn Good Movie Memories.